From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
Two minority organizations at IU in Bloomington claim they were racially targeted. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. The members say the incident happened virtually by students who were supposed to be prospective members of the organizations. As WRTV's Troy Washington explains, the groups are standing up and speaking out to make sure students realize they won't stand for the disrespect.
It's really sucked for both of our orgs because we were just trying to get our name out there and just tell the incoming freshmen, like, you know what our org is about, and we can't even do that.
Janae Coleman is a junior at IU Bloomington. She's also the NAACP secretary.
And not only did it happen to NAACP, but it happened to another Black organization as well called Campus Curls and Coils as well.
The two Black organizations found themselves at the center of a flurry of racial slurs during a Zoom meeting that was supposed to give students more information about the organizations.
And I was like, do you see these comments, what they're saying?
WRTV has blurred the comments because they aren't appropriate for broadcast. But students say it wasn't just the words that were written in the Zoom meeting. The Zoom meeting was interrupted by people mocking the Black Lives Matter movement.
We did have some students that did want to learn about NAACP, but they felt uncomfortable as well, so they start leaving the Zoom call on their own.
According to Coleman and the recording circulating on Twitter, people were making fun of the last words George Floyd said before he died, saying, "I can't breathe," and making it a laughing matter.
With everything going on now, I do feel like that was like another reason why people felt comfortable just coming into our Zoom meetings about it. And I kind of felt like they didn't think we were really going to do anything about it, like report it to the school.
But both organizations say they aren't letting this slide.
I just wanted the people that did do this just to know that they didn't hurt our org. If anything, they made us stronger and want us to continue to go harder and everything. But IU is working on it right now, and it's going to get handled.
Working for you in Bloomington, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you. IU Police and the University Information Technology Service are both investigating this incident to try to identify the people who were involved. The university superintendent for public safety says that this racist, aggressive action through Zoom is unacceptable. Tonight, one person is injured after an early morning shooting on the east side. IMPD says officers responded to East Washington Street near North Kitley Avenue around 5 a.m. Police say one person was shot here at this location. At last check, police say the victim is in serious condition. No other details have been released by IMPD about what led up to this latest shooting. As always, if you have information, contact Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. Let's take a live look outside right now on this Sunday evening as we wrap up a beautiful weekend. Meteorologist Kyle Mount is standing by. And Kyle, as I was walking into work, I was like, what a beautiful night to cook out, sit out on the back patio. It's so nice.
Absolutely, with that lower humidity, and temperatures have been a little bit cooler today too. Many spots not making it into the 80s, numbers that are running about 5 degrees cooler than this time yesterday evening. And that puts us at 76 degrees in Indianapolis. Our top number this afternoon was 77. We've got that northeast wind between about 5 and 10 miles per hour, and there's that low humidity at just 50%. Around central Indiana, we do have some 80s starting to work their way back in from the southwest. That's a sign of things to come here for the week ahead. But as we look at the satellite and radar, even though we've got some clouds out there, I think the wet weather is going to be staying off to our south this evening, with temperatures still in the 70s through 10 o'clock and that sun setting at 8:19. We'll talk about the return of rain chances in your 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
Kyle, thank you. Now to our continuing coverage of the coronavirus and its impact on Indiana. The state health department reports 6 more deaths. 3,072 Hoosiers have now died from COVID-19. More than 93,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. More than 1 million people have been tested in Indiana, with 8.7% testing positive. More than 120 employees are being impacted by the closing of 2 Howard County health facilities in the midst of the pandemic. This is the final day of operations for Replay Physical Therapy Clinic and Community Howard Specialty Hospital. Community Health Network says it's because of the changing landscape of healthcare. But WRTV Investigates found that the layoffs and closures are happening even though the healthcare system got more than $200 million in federal stimulus money. Community Health Network issued this statement to WRTV. It says, quote, "We worked closely with impacted employees to match as many as possible to other openings within community. We have made every attempt to ensure that patients have a smooth transition to other quality care options within the community," end quote. Starting tomorrow, IPS will have even more student support network sites open to help with remote learning. IPS has begun the school year with 100% remote learning for all district students. The hope is that the kids will be able to return to in-person learning by October 2nd. The support sites offer a safe and structured place for IPS students to attend when families need a supervised environment for their children during remote learning. On Monday, the YMCA will open a student support site at Carl Wild School 79 on West 34th Street, and the organization At Your School will open up support centers at Robert Lee Frost School 106 on Roxbury Road and Broad Ripple High School on Broad Ripple Avenue. IPS parents and guardians will need to register their students in advance and arrange for transportation to and from the student support network sites they attend. Today, more than 100 motorcyclists hit the streets for a ride to benefit an organization that saves pit bulls. The ride started at the Indianapolis South Side Harley-Davidson location. All money raised goes directly to Lucci's House Bully Rescue. When we caught up with the ride, though, in New Whiteland, there was an accident. The organizers say a woman was on her motorcycle and she was the blocker blocking traffic for the group, and she was hit by a car. They say she is expected to be okay, but despite the somber ending to the ride, those we spoke to say it's important to do what they can to raise money.
Oh, you got to keep doing it. Because you love the dogs and you hate people that mistreat them and they need help.
All of the money raised will be used for vet bills for the dogs Lucci's House saves. This week, the 2 candidates for president are preparing to tackle one of the most divisive issues in our nation right now. Their take on the current protests against racial inequality next on the News at 6. Protests in Portland, Oregon turned violent overnight while confrontations between demonstrators demanding racial equality and Trump supporters continue in cities throughout the U.S. This is the president and Democratic nominee Joe Biden plan to address the growing tensions. ABC's Megan Tavrizian is in San Diego with the latest.
Overnight, more protests igniting around the country, from Oakland, California, to Portland, Oregon, where one man was shot and killed, though police haven't said whether it was connected to the clashes between Trump supporters and demonstrators demanding racial equality. The sometimes violent protests in Portland going on for more than 90 days. In Kenosha, Wisconsin, hundreds marching through the streets in peaceful protests, 1 week after police shot Jacob Blake 7 times in the back, leaving him paralyzed. The hostility between protests and counter-protesters turning political. This morning, President Trump liking a tweet thread that starts with "Kyle Rittenhouse is a good example of why I decided to vote for Trump." Rittenhouse is a teenager facing homicide charges for allegedly killing 2 protesters and injuring another during protests in Kenosha last week. Rittenhouse's attorney arguing his client had no choice but to fire multiple rounds towards his immediate attackers because he feared for his life. This morning, Acting Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf saying the violence across U.S. cities needs to stop.
If you're going to protest, First Amendment right, please do that peacefully. Once you cross the line to violence, That is what's concerning to the Department of Homeland Security. That's what I'm focused on, making sure that we bring any type of violence in any of our cities to a close.
Also this morning, a member of Biden's campaign staff, Kate Bedingfield, saying Biden will be out this week addressing the ongoing arrest, but not getting into details on how.
You will absolutely hear Joe Biden out this week addressing this moment in the country. We will have details to share on the location shortly.
President Trump planning to visit Kenosha on Tuesday to meet with law enforcement and survey the damage. It's unclear if he plans to visit Jacob Blake or his family. Megan Tavrizian, ABC News, San Diego.
Megan, thank you. This programming note for tonight, ABC will air the movie Black Panther from 8 p.m. to 10:20, commercial free, to mark the passing of the actor Chadwick Boseman, who died late Friday from colon cancer. An ABC News special tribute for Boseman will air right after the movie. Then join us right here for WRTV News at 11. Kyle.
And out there this evening, maybe take a walk or grill some dinner. We got some nice temperatures for it. We're in the middle 70s right now in Indy and Kokomo, still sitting at 80 degrees for you right now in Bloomington, with some sunshine, light winds out there this evening, and it will stay a pretty calm wind here as we go into tonight. Our temperatures sliding back through the 70s here. By 11 o'clock, we sit at 70 degrees, and this morning we started off in the upper 50s in Indy. I still think we'll have some 50s across central Indiana, mainly north of I-70 tomorrow morning, calling for a low of 61 in Indy. So areas from Indy south will be in the lower 60s here as we start off your Monday morning. And as we break down your Monday hour by hour forecast here, mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. We are going to notice that humidity does come up a little bit. It's not going to be tropical or oppressive feeling out there, but more noticeable than what we had today for sure. A temperature of 74 for your lunch hour, and we'll get back into the lower 80s for that afternoon high. Now, there is a small chance for a passing shower, maybe a rumble of thunder, but as you see on TrueCast, we go into our Monday morning. Best chance for that's really going to be over southeastern locations around Rushville, Shelbyville, into Columbus, Greensburg, Seymour, and North Vernon, areas that could see a little bit of that wet weather early in the day. As we get toward 12:30 in the afternoon, you see mostly cloudy skies from I-70 to the south, a little more sunshine working its way in here to the north, and then we'll kind of fill in more of those clouds, but it should be a dry afternoon for us, and temperatures not too far off the mark for the last day of August here. Average high is 83. We'll make to 82 in Indy, Columbus, and Bloomington, 81 for your afternoon high in Peru. And again, not too much of a heat index out there. Rain chances going to be very low here the next couple of days. Best chance for some wet weather. Looks like it'll come our way by the middle of the week. Now, before we get there, though, on Tuesday, any of those thunderstorms that do develop could bring in some isolated wind gusts. Already, we've got that marginal risk of some strong to severe storms across central Indiana. But you look at TrueCast, this is Tuesday afternoon, not really overly impressive with any of those showers or downpours developing. As we go forward into Wednesday, that's where we see more of that rain coverage kind of overspreading the area, and the most likely time you're going to need to use that umbrella. Your extended forecast now, 82 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Even those overnights are going to get a little more warm and muggy as well. 65 by Tuesday morning, 85 for the afternoon high. We'll start off close to 70 on Wednesday, and the rest of your 7-day planning forecast shows few showers and storms lingering into Thursday. Looks like things will improve a little bit, though, as we go into Friday. Another cold front moves through with highs in the 70s.
And I'm Dave First. We've been watching the Weldons in racing for some time. Now it's the watch part that has Sebastian and Oliver helping with their dad's legacy. Coming up in the Sports Extra Spotlight.
There is still talk about last Sunday's Indianapolis 500, namely from the Weldon family on the Gulf Coast of Florida. It's been nearly 9 years since Dan Weldon lost his life during a race in Las Vegas. But his wife and children are making sure the legacy continues. Sports Director Dave First with the Sports Extra Spotlight.
It was a battle between Takuma Sato and Scott Dixon, watched by fans around the world, including the Weldons, Dan's wife Susie, and 2 sons.
Guys, did you watch the Indy 500 the other day?
Yes.
What did you think?
I wish Scott won.
You wish Scott won?
Takuma Sato's a fast driver, so he kind of deserves it.
And from their Florida home, if anyone knows about fast driving, it's 9-year-old Oliver and 11-year-old Sebastian.
Guys, grab your favorite trophy.
SCUSA. It was SCUSA Winter Series. Oh, Sebastian has one too, because, you know, we're not going to be outdone by our little brother.
No, exactly.
See, but here we go. He's in a harder class.
Both have been karting for years now and improving every step of the way. And now this?
Sebastian, Oliver, how cool is it that you guys have a line of watches, for crying out loud?
Very grateful for those.
It's thanks to Dan's old partnership with watchmaker Ritmo Mundo, with each of his sons designing them themselves. For Oliver,
I did orange and purple because they're both on my helmet.
And Sebastian,
I think I did blue and pink
Yeah, why was that?
because of my racing car.
sold on the manufacturer website, with proceeds going to the Dan Weldon Foundation and the Alzheimer's Association, something close to the whole family.
That's a special part of Dan's legacy. You know, there's, you know, obviously the boys are the biggest part of his legacy and what they're even, you know, outside of racing. But he started to do some work with the Alzheimer's Association right before he passed. And I know that was really important to him. And so, you know, it's super important to me, and just to be able to give back and to be able to show everybody how appreciative we are, the boys and I as a family, just for the support that we received.
There's no question racing remains with the Weldons.
I got this one in Vegas.
And as the trophy room fills up, so do their dreams.
What's the next step?
I want to go to F1 and then IndyCar.
F1?
We're shooting high, Dave. We're shooting high. We're doing both. We're doing do both.
And if anyone can, it's the Weldons, carrying on Dan's legacy in many ways. Dave First, WRTV Sports.
A legendary Chicago pizzeria is getting ready to open its first Indiana location and needs to hire Hoosiers to make and deliver its deep dish pizzas and more. Lou Malnati's Pizzeria is set to open in Carmel in October at 11435 Spring Mill Road. They're looking to hire 50 people to serve as kitchen, phone staff, and delivery drivers. They're hosting 2 hiring events this coming week. They will be held Tuesday and Thursday, September 1st and 3rd from noon to 6 each day at 2902 West 86th Street, Suite 110, right next to Pier 1. If you can't make it, you can apply online. We do have the information in this story at hiringhoosiers.com. And by the way, we learned the pizzeria is planning a second Indiana location in Broad Ripple sometime in 2021. I'll have to try that out. Well, doctors say flu vaccines will be critical to reduce confusion about whether you're experiencing flu or COVID-19 symptoms if you get sick in the coming months. Scripps reporter Michelle Casada explains why doctors say getting your flu shot now is essential this year.
A stuffy or runny nose, cough, fever, difficulty breathing, those all sound like COVID-19 symptoms, right? Well, they're also flu symptoms, and this year, doctors say the best way to rule out the flu if you're sick is to get vaccinated. Vaccines are already available for the flu season, which typically peaks in October and November and runs through March of next year.
It is more important this year because it's complicated by the presence of the coronavirus.
The symptoms are very similar, though Chief of Staff at Palm Beach Gardens Medical Center, Dr. Shady Salib, says the one difference is that COVID gives higher fevers and you can experience change in or loss of taste or smell. He says getting the flu vaccine will help doctors better assess the patients and potentially rule out the flu.
Imagine we get a patient, we don't know if it's corona infection or COVID infection or the flu, and it turns out the patient has both. This can be catastrophic in many patients, especially the older population.
Now remember, you can still get the flu even with the vaccine, but Dr. Salib says typically the symptoms are less severe. He says getting the flu shot early will still protect you for the entire season.
A dog food has been voluntarily recalled due to concerns of salmonella contamination. The recall affects Nature's Menu super premium dog food with a blend of real chicken and quail. It comes after a sample of the product was collected in Georgia and tested positive for salmonella. There are no reports of pets getting sick. The recalled products come in 3 and 13.5-pound bags and was sold in stores nationwide. If you have some at your house, check the product's lot code at the FDA.gov to see if yours is included in this recall. You can return the unused portion to the store you bought it from for a full refund. I'm sure you've heard there's an app for that. Well, now there's an app to help you keep track of any recalls on your car. It comes from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. It's called Safer Car and works by entering your vehicle's VIN number. It also applies to car seats, trailers, and tires. You'll get an alert when there's a recall that's relevant to you. The app is free to use. Sounds like science fiction, but millions of little robots could someday move within your body to help battle disease or help repair injuries. Researchers say the little robots could be injected into the body and controlled by laser technology. They now want to create sophisticated circuitry to allow the robots to move according to changes within the body. The robots already can survive extreme temperature changes and highly acidic conditions, such as in the gut. Very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Gives me kind of chills just thinking about that.
It does.
All right, that 7-day planning forecast not going to give you many chills here, as those temperatures will be in the lower to middle 80s for afternoon highs. Just slight chances for a shower or storm here as we go through the next couple of days. A little better chance on Wednesday, and then looking very nice once again for the end of the week.
Yeah, looks like a nice week ahead. Thank you so much, Kyle, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here tonight at 11. Have a great night.